Hello, 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 and welcome back to another edition of Fan Talk, your favorite podcast by your favorite fan. That is me, Kyle Brenchley, in the house on this snowy Thursday, and I say snowy very lightly. It turned to snow for maybe about 3 seconds. But we're getting rain here, getting a little bit of rain-snow mix. Welcome to Fan Talk. If you're new here, Fan Talk is a podcast by the fans, for the fans, and we talk everything sports here. We got the sign, we got the Rogue One posters, we're ready to go. Fan Talk's a podcast you can find anywhere you get your podcasts. I also upload on YouTube. If you're listening or watching on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and comment down below. I appreciate it if you want to be a part of this Fan Talk family. All right, guys, it is April. Time flies, especially in the format of this podcast where we record episodes once a week. It seems like time flies extra fast. We're already in April, and that means that the Final Four in men's college basketball is happening. We are at the end of the NCAA tournament, and what a fantastic tournament it has been. We'll preview the Final Four matchups, the Final Four teams, look ahead and see who I think will win it all. We'll also be talking a little bit about the World Cup. The World Cup is only 70 days away. We just had the last qualifiers. The field is set. I'll be telling you about that, and we'll take a look at my bracket. Is it busted? Probably. Is yours? Probably. This and more here on Fan Talk. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let's jump right in. This has been a fantastic NCAA March Madness tournament. It's been super fun. It's super fun like the first weekend, the first 10 days. There's just so many games that happen, and then it slows down. And we're kind of in that point where it slows down. We're down to the Final Four teams, and honestly, I am a little surprised, but not totally surprised with these Final Four teams. As you know, the Final Four teams left in the field: out of the East, UConn; out of the South, Illinois; out of the West, Arizona; and out of the Midwest, Michigan. Now, I've looked at a lot of brackets. Everybody had Michigan. Everybody had Arizona making it to the Final Four. But UConn and Illinois, perhaps a little surprising to some. I've seen a lot of brackets with Illinois. I think I had one bracket where I picked Illinois to the Final Four. But not a lot of people had UConn getting past Duke. And a lot of people had Florida or Houston in that Final Four. But Illinois sneaks in. I think this is a fantastic Final Four. I'm super excited how these teams got here. Well, let's start with UConn. I would argue that UConn probably had the hardest path to get here. Not only did they have the number one overall seed in Duke in their division, but they also had to get past a Michigan State team that was playing very well. a UCLA team that, while not as good as UConn, was a team that had that upset potential. They had to get past Michigan State. Honestly, this is a Duke team that's very good, who beat a very good St. John's team who beat a very good Kansas team. So there was just a lot of good teams in this East Division. And so UConn getting past Duke, and holy cow, did you guys watch that game? That game was insane. Duke was up by, 16 points at one point in the game, and never before had a one seed, when leading by double digits, lost after halftime. So they were winning at halftime. They were up double digits in this game. It was 134-0 or something like that. That was the record. And so Duke becomes the first team, the first one seed to blow a double-digit lead and lose. UConn, wow. It's just crazy. Life comes at you fast. And you play your entire season. Duke had a fantastic season. You play an entire season. You put in the effort in the off season. You go out there and you execute 35 regular season games. You're the number one overall seed. You play through the bracket. You play good teams like St. John's. And one unfortunate mistake and your season is over. UConn, hands down, tight defense at the end, were able to get the steal and the three-pointer with 3 seconds left. Absolutely crazy game. Probably the top three game of the tournament candidate. UConn goes to the Final Four. Dan Hurley has a recipe for winning. Ultimately, when it comes to college basketball, I think the coach matters a lot more than you think. This is the world of college basketball today, especially these big blue blood programs. They get guys who are really good. You got Cooper Flagg, you got the Boozer brothers. You get these guys that come in for 1 year. They play their freshman year, and they're really good, and they have a fantastic season. And maybe they win the championship, but it's not guaranteed. and you just start all over. You rinse and repeat, right? But you look at these programs who have coaches who have been there before. UConn with Dan Hurley, he's been there before, won back-to-back championships not too long ago. You look at Arizona, they've been there before. Illinois, Brad Underwood, he's coached at Illinois for a long time, has won a lot of games, has done a lot of good things. He's been there before. Even Dusty May has been to the Final Four with Florida Atlantic. He's been there before. You look at Rob Painter with Purdue. He's been there before. Tom Izzo, Michigan State always does well in March. They've been there before. These teams that are so disciplined, that are so built on tradition, they get there. They get there. So it should be no surprise that UConn got to the Final Four this year. Fantastic matchup between Illinois. Illinois came out of the South. They might have had, I wouldn't say the easiest path, but they had a pretty easy division considering the teams that are in other divisions. I would say Houston was really their only threat. Iowa went on that tear, took out Florida, took out Nebraska. Illinois took care of Iowa. But Illinois taking out Houston was huge because Houston was probably the favorite in this division. Honestly, Florida was the 1 seed, but Florida was a far better team last year. Houston was the favorite in this conference, in this section of the bracket. Illinois were able to take them out. They had to play a 9 seed in the Elite Eight. That is absolutely perfect. But at the end of the day, seeds are just seeds. Michigan coming out of the Midwest. Michigan has impressed me quite a bit. It's weird for me to say that I think people are sleeping on Michigan. They only have 2 losses. They've been number 1 before. But look at this. They've won all of their games by double digits. They blew out Howard. They blew out St. Louis. They beat a very good Alabama team by 13. This is an Alabama team that probably had one of the best offenses, highest scoring offenses in college basketball, and Michigan hung 90 on them. And then they beat a Tennessee team by 33 points in the Elite Eight. Holy cow. So Michigan, they're a deadly, deadly threat. Watch out for them. But they're playing an Arizona team who's had a similar trajectory. They've blown out everybody. They took care of Long Island. They took care of Utah State. They took care of Arkansas, who I had Arkansas upsetting Arizona because I was high on John Calipari, Darius Acuff. They had some good pieces, and they lost by 21 to this Arizona team. Arizona hung 109 points on them. They took out Purdue by 15. These are just 2 dominant teams, Arizona, Michigan. It's perhaps a shame that they have to meet in the Final Four rather than meeting in the national championship for, wow, that would be such a great game. But that should be a fantastic game. Illinois, UConn, Arizona, Michigan. Drop your predictions down below and let me know who you guys think is going to win. I think this is how the national champion is going to pay out. I think Illinois is going to beat UConn in an absolute thriller. Maybe it goes to overtime. And I think Arizona is going to barely edge Michigan. Arizona, Illinois national championship. I think Arizona wins and are national champions for the first time. And I don't know the stat, so I won't throw out a fake stat to you. But Arizona Wildcats, I think, will win it all. Drop your predictions down below in the comment section if you're listening on YouTube. If you're just listening on Spotify or another platform, that is all right. Now, I think a lot of people's brackets were busted come Sweet 16 time. I don't believe anyone's bracket is busted in the first or second round unless your national champion is out. Which, if you did have Florida winning it all, it did bust some brackets. I had a bracket that had Florida winning it all, and they got busted. So let's take a look at how my brackets are faring. I actually do have a bracket with UConn winning it all, and it's my best bracket. It's not doing terribly well, but it's doing all right. The groups I'm in, I'm still, far behind. I think I have some Final Four or Elite Eight teams that did not give me the points. So even though I currently have the winner still in play, I still have some ground to make up. I do have one with Michigan winning it all. I don't think I'm eligible to win really much in there. As you can see, the ESPN, the Florida's out, Duke's out, Iowa State's out, Florida's out. I do have one where Arizona wins, but again, I just don't have a lot of points in this bracket, and so there's just not a lot of ground that I can make up. Let's look at the leaderboard right now. The best bracket in the world is this guy, Dave Howard. He's got Arizona winning it all. And as you can see here, a lot of green, a lot of correct picks. He has 6 incorrect picks. He has the correct Final Four. He has UConn over Illinois and then Arizona over Michigan, Arizona winning it all. That honestly very well could happen. And this guy could be the top guy. Well, congratulations to him. As you can see, a lot of people who are still in play. Obviously, have the final four still in play. Not a lot of Illinois, just a few Illinois here and there, but a lot of Michigan, a lot of Arizona, a few UConns. Look at these UConns sneaking in there. So there's the bracket. Your bracket's probably busted at this point, but it should be fantastic. National championship. Go watch some college basketball this weekend because it is going to be the end pretty soon here. Let's shift our focus from basketball to football, soccer. We are in April and we are officially 70 days away from the World Cup, which is being hosted here in North America in cities across the United States, Mexico, and Canada. Now, the World Cup is going to be the biggest and most exciting edition of the tournament to date, as 48 teams from around the globe make the tournament. Can you believe that? 48 teams have made it from around the globe. There's going to be 104 matches. It's going to be fantastic. I myself am going to go watch some games down in Dallas. The games that I'm going to see is Georgia versus Argentina and then Japan versus Sweden. So we're going to catch a couple games. It should be fantastic. How it works is, of these 48 teams, they're broken up into 12 different groups, and you enter a group stage. And so you play the three other teams in your group stage. The groups each have 4 teams, and you play the other 3 teams. And based on your results, your wins and losses, and how many points you get, you move on to the next round. So, for example, the United States is in Group D. The other 3 countries that they are paired with are Paraguay, Australia, and Turkey, formerly known as Turkey. So the United States will play Paraguay, Australia, and Turkey, and hopefully get some points. You get 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, a tie, and hopefully get enough points to move on to the next round. Canada's in Group B, Mexico's in Group A. Like I said earlier, we're watching Japan versus Sweden, and then we're watching Jordan and Argentina when I go down to Dallas. A lot of cool countries that have made the tournament who have not been there before. Cabo Verde, that is a country in Africa. It's an island nation off the coast of Western Africa. They actually speak Portuguese there. Senegal's there, Iraq, Iran, Egypt, Jordan. Let's see, the Congo DR, the Congo Democratic Republic. That is in Central Africa. That is their first ever World Cup appearance. Uzbekistan, Central Asia being represented. These teams that you just don't think about, these countries that you maybe don't even know where they are. Curacao. I've been to Curacao. It's a beautiful island. Very cool. Qatar, of course, returning. They hosted it last year. Bosnia and Herzegovina took out Italy to get a spot. Tunisia, Northern Africa, of course. So many cool countries. It's one of the most entertaining sports events that there is. I'd say the Olympics is probably number one. The Olympics unite us all. World Cup is just right up there because the entire world loves football. Here in the United States, we love soccer, but it's just not the same at all compared to the rest of the world. Football is their favorite thing. They love it. I'm so excited. 70 days out. So mark your calendars. June 11th is when the first match kicks off in Mexico City between Mexico and South Africa. Should be super fun, and start getting your soccer on. All right, guys, that's all I got for you today here on Fan Talk. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, again, if you're listening on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe if you like what you hear. If you're listening on Spotify, please leave a review. I appreciate it, and I'm so grateful for you guys. Go out and do some good in the world. It is Easter this weekend, whether you're religious or not. It is a good time to spread goodness, joy, and peace, especially in a time where there's not a lot of that going on. So I'll see you guys next week for another edition of Fan Talk, and take care.